Hello A-Sven-gers, it's me, Svenny McG, and I'm back again to talk to you today about the Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice toy line. In the last video, we reviewed the ultimate Batcave playset, the 4-foot tall monstrosity that takes up all of your play space. In this video, we're going to review the Batmobile, as well as Batman, Superman, and a lot of the other action figures that came out in this line. Let's have a look. Now, the Batmobile itself from the movie wasn't an awful design. Very armored, very ready to go. Now, this Batmobile itself does not have any sounds, does not have batteries. Now, if you're like me and you have children, that's not necessarily a terrible thing. It is not wound up, it is not spring-loaded, but it does have a couple features. Now, of course, notably on the front, these bright green kryptonite grenades, ready to fire, and they do actually have quite a bit of pull. Now the other thing is with this, right from the movie, Superman comes into play, Batman wants to stop him. You can see it does fit a standard size Batman figure in there, but with the front of it in place, upon contact, the hood actually will bust open and you can see all the mechanical parts. There's the engine itself. Alfred's got some work to do. Now, the action figure line for Batman vs. Superman was not too bad. The figures do bear the likenesses. Some questionable choices in here as to why they made it, but I mean, Aquaman was filmed in one little scene there, and really not any more than Flash or Cyborg. Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman here, not bad, but I mean, the likeness for the actual Wonder Woman movie is certainly far superior. We did not get a, well, we'll call him Doomsday figure, but we did get, curiously, the Bat creature. Here are some of the boxed figures. Here are some I've already opened. And added to it was a Target exclusive Batman Bruce Wayne that came with the Batcave itself. So we're going to have a quick look at all these guys, and ultimately, much like all the Marvel Legends, there is a build-a-figure. In this case today, we're going to be building the grapple gun. Should note that although I am missing the Wonder Woman figure, you can see Wonder Woman's figure is 3, and that's really just going to be the clear stand to hold the gun together. So I'm not too concerned. We should be able to go ahead and proceed building this figure. Alright, the first figure we have here is Henry Cavill's Clark Kent Superman. He has many points of articulation. He could fly up and sidekick a chump in the face if he needs to. And you can see that he's got it in the hips, he's got it in the thighs, the knees, he's got it in the ankles, he's got full shoulder rotation, his elbows, and even in his wrists. His hands do not articulate, but that's okay. This Superman is made for punching. All in all, he is a good looking figure. I do like Henry Cavill as Superman. I hope to see him continue in the franchise. I think it's time for Superman to do something inspiring and to actually accept the role of Superman, but hopefully that's what Superman 2 will bring about. Up next here we have Batman. Ben Affleck, Batflick, was talked about for a long time about the role, and people soon felt, just like when they cast Heath Ledger or Michael Keaton or any of the others, that he was not bad at all for the role. He took it very seriously and was a pretty hard and grim Batman. This figure here looks pretty great. You can see all the details, including all the wrinkles and ruffles in the costume itself. Pretty nice details to have. The cowl looks great. Overall, nice looking figure. All the same points of articulation Superman had previously. Next up here beside Batman is Bruce Wayne, mask off. This was a Toys R Us exclusive and not found on the back of the packaging here. But it did come with a unique piece to the Bat Grapple. This actually came with the grapple piece itself. So this will connect into the end of the gun. This was, again, unique to Toys R Us. The molded model here is not any different than the previous Batman. The cape looks to be a little bit different, and I believe that was to accommodate the mask. Now the mask itself doesn't look too bad. Ears look pretty short, kind of Adam West-like. No disrespect to Adam West, love him. But this costume here, these pieces always look kind of goofy when they get put on. But again, nice to have a Bruce Wayne. And for the sake of contrast here was the exclusive figure that came with the Batcave. Now he's actually a little bit shorter than his brothers here. And again, compared to the clean-shaven Bruce Wayne there, this model here has quite the beard on him. Probably looks more like Ben Affleck than the previous model does. Very shiny belt. Not as dampened as the other ones. But again, an okay figure. He does not have the articulation that the others do. Alright, Kryptonian, do you bleed? This is the model that everyone was looking forward to seeing when the movie was coming out. As you just saw, this model is actually taller than the rest, but does have all the same articulation. A little bit heavier than the rest. The mask does not come off. The helmet is part of the mold. And the cape, pretty heavy set also, right on the back. Pretty cool Batman. And just for comparison again, this is the figure that came with the Batcave. You can see all the armor is just snap-on. So we put on his wristlets, his shoulders, his chest piece, his helmet, and his boots. What's curious is he does not actually have the cowl underneath, and you can totally see the white beard coming out. In comparison to the two, yeah, I'd still take the one on the right. Lex Luthor. I guess the major point of having this Luthor, having the long hair, was to show that he actually loses hair once he goes to prison and they shave it. I don't know what the problem with having a bald villain, but not the choice they chose for the movie. Regardless, he was okay. There wasn't anything wrong with his portrayal of Luthor. I think they could have just given him maybe a little bit more to do. As you can see with Luthor here, he doesn't care. His shirt's untucked out of his belt. He's got his kicks on. He's ready for war. He's too smart. He doesn't need armor or guns or any other accessories. Up next we have my man, Aquaman, Jason Momoa. Pretty good likeness. Actually, I'd say the figure probably isn't as shredded as Jason Momoa was in Justice League. But again, not quite sure why his character turned up. I mean, you'd think that they just ran out of characters in order to put together the Build-A-Set. But they do have all the other Target exclusives that they could have included again, including Bruce Wayne, Clark Kent, all the others. Overall, though, you gotta admit, this isn't a terrible set. It doesn't have all these unnecessary characters in there like bubblegum chewing Bruce Wayne or Clark Kent gets his laundry. You know, this actually has characters right from the film. Although, again, I don't know why you wouldn't have seen a Doomsday, a zombified General Zod, over some of the other choices, especially the Bat. Aquaman here looks pretty great. They've captured the long hair, the tattoos. One thing I believe they didn't even show in Justice League, though, was the trident, so curious that they included it here with the figure. We all know it's coming, but pretty premature here on the marketing standpoint. The Nightmare Bats. Again, really curious to know why this was chosen as part of the figures. And you know what? Through some of the packaging, kind of leads you to wonder that they ran out of ideas. This was number 7, as you can see over here. And yet, listed as coming soon when a lot of the figures were already clearly established. So it makes you wonder that they just ran out of things. I don't know why they wouldn't have used Doomsday. Heck, give us Lois. But I have no idea why they chose the creature from Bruce Wayne's dreams. For all my lamenting of character choice, though, I have to admit that the character does look pretty great. It's such a brief on-screen appearance that it's hard to say if this is actually film accurate, but overall, it does look like a menacing character. You can see all the paint details. I mean, the character does look a little veiny. And you can see even the wings are all shriveled up, pulled together, but very muscular, ready to go. And without Wonder Woman, I can say finally here, this is Nightmare Batman. Now again, I love that the movie, or at least, sorry, the action figure line, included characters from the movie. We had a regular suited Batman, standard suit. We had the Frank Miller armor suit Batman. And now we have Nightmare Batman. We didn't get all these neon variants or anything we used to get with all the childhood lines from Kenner or from Mattel. But here we did get the suit right from the actual Nightmare sequence here. And I thought this was great. I loved having this suit, and I can tell you, I actually did dress up for Halloween one year with my son as Batman, and this was the suit that I chose to do with the long trench coat and the scarf, and ready to go right out into the desert as Batman. What's interesting here with this Batman is that he actually has the most accessories of any of them, including Aquaman, Superman, or any of the others. He has the goggles, he has the batarangs, which look like they're going to attach to his costume. And that is, again, not much, but by far the most of any of the characters. Alright, I may stand corrected. I don't believe these actually attach to his suit, but given the curvature of these bats, I assume that that was the case. However, looks like I gotta just put these guys between a book and let them flatten themselves out, because these are definitely going to boomerang or fall straight down if Batman throws them. As for the figure himself, like I said, just looks great. He's got a really wonky trigger finger here. Unfortunately, that just came from the packaging. But overall, still looks great. Alright, here are the stock pieces to build the Bat Grapple. Again, as you can see here on the packaging, all we're going to be missing is that clear stand to hold the gun up, but the base there seems pretty firm. You cannot remove the stock from the yellow base down below. This is actually fixed right in, and you will not be able to remove it, but given that it's already pretty sturdy, I got a feeling the gun will stay up without that missing plastic piece. So, alright, and here we have the final piece. As you can see, it looks pretty great. It's a nice mock-up of Ben Affleck's grapple gun. However, I was incorrect in my suspicion. The Wonder Woman piece actually extends right off the bottom here of the yellow, and then provides that clear plastic. So as you can see, without that, the gun is actually very unstable because it's very front heavy. However, I'm sure I can find some form of a counterweight to stick it right off the back and keep this steady. So there you have a little bit of the action figure line. Now, also missing, in addition to the Wonder Woman action figure, Toys R Us actually also had a Superman figure with a heat vision eyes. Now, the body paint was still all the same. There weren't really any notable differences I could tell, except for the heat vision eyes. And the Build-A-Piece that came with that was actually also the extension of the Grapple. It had a projectile air cartridge coming out of the end of it. It wasn't worth the $22 Canadian for me to pick it up, so I left that one behind. Still looking for the Wonder Woman, though. I need something to hold this gun up. So some of the pros of the action figures, I love that the figures actually represented characters from the movie. So many times do we get all these other lines coming out at us where all these different repaints, remodels, or just extraneous figures turn up in a Build-A-Figure set. Everybody here at least was in the movie. Some of the choices were questionable, as I've mentioned many times throughout the video. Would have liked to have got a Doomsday to actually have, as it was the big battle of the whole movie. But overall, really can't complain. Great figures, a lot of articulation, looks great. Was excited to pick up the whole set. Thank you for checking out this second part on the Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice toy line review. Again, please always like and subscribe, share, and I appreciate you taking the time to watch the video. As always, take care, be good to each other.